Well, many thanks to you for staying with us. You're watching AM Ghana here on Adwa Television. Well, I was just giving you headlines from the newspapers myself, and Anastasia about to join me later. And now it's time for some discussions with some of those headlines in the newspapers. I'm joined in by a communication member for the National Democratic Congress. We're still waiting on communication rep for the New Patriotic Party. But sometimes it happens. As and when they come in, would usher them in. In the meantime, I have Mr. McLean Ajukache with me. How are you doing, sir? How was your weekend?
Very fantastic.
Very fantastic. Tell me,
Yes.
what were some of your activities?
You know I'm a fan of football.
Oh, yeah.
So over the weekend, Accra Hearts of Oak has disappointed me.
Disappointed?
Yes, I was expecting them to win that match, but it was a draw game. So apart from all other things that happened, that has been a little bit devastating because all my friends around me are Asante Kotoko
Okay.
fans. So if they win like that, it gives me an edge.
Oh, yeah, to
proud.
push them a little.
Yes.
But I
then
think that
also,
yesterday's scores gave both teams and supporters a fair and level playing ground. And what we saw at the pubs and the other places, shortage of
drinks
consumables and what have you. It was a good moment. I don't know why you.
No, that
you know.
You are speaking from the business point of view.
Of course.
But I'm speaking from a fan base point of view. Someone will also speak from a sports analysis point of view.
Okay.
But I am a fan of Asante Kotoko, and we always want a win. Though in football there are three things.
You're a fan of Asante Kotoko.
Accra Hearts of Oak. I can't be.
Bro, get it straight.
I can't be a fan of Asante Kotoko.
Okay.
I'm a fan of
Accra
Accra Hearts of Oak.
Okay.
So in football there are three things: you win, you draw, or
You
you
lose.
lose. But most of the times you go for win.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why you play. But if
Of
you
course, but
don't win, you don't
yes.
come home with a loss.
That is
You
that
at
is
least draw.
yes. That is why we are not too much disappointed. But the wish was that we could have probably win that game. And in fact, kudos to the boys. Muntari has shown that he's a man.
Oh, I see.
In
Oh, he
terms
played
of-
yesterday?
Yes. So very accurate passes.
Interesting.
I'm telling you,
Interesting.
he has shown the system that there is difference.
Okay.
There is
There
difference.
is difference from the experiences that he has gathered outside
Over time.
and over time.
Over time.
Okay. So
And-
experience is the best teacher. Isn't
Yes,
it?
and one thing I also saw in a stadium yesterday that made me proud was the presence of the former captain of the Black Stars, Stephen Appiah,
Appiah.
and then some musicians, King Promise and others all joined to watch that game.
Oh, you didn't see,
see-
member of parliament from your side,
Ningo
Honorable,
Pram.
yes.
No,
Jasa
as for
George.
him, I was monitoring him even on Facebook till
Oh, I
he
see,
even
I
got
see,
there.
I see.
So, but I'm looking at those celebrities that are trying their best to contribute to bringing back the love. But the problem I have is that we want to bring back the love, but GTV, Sports Plus, and others are not able to show this current match. I don't know the technicalities involved and what could have prevented them from doing that. But if you really want to bring the love back, I think those parts should also be looked at. And then also the 25% COVID restriction was also another hectic thing for us.
How was it? How was it?
A lot of people could not go and watch the match. And you know, when you are going to play a match like that, I once told you I've been a CEO of Escalade Sporting Club before, playing Division 2 now. When you are going to play a match, each match, you don't spend less than 40,000 Ghana cedis just into the match. So if you are giving us 25% of total capacity of the stadium, how much money do we make to be able to put a proper systems in place to make the game look beautiful and nice? So we are still pleading, and I'll use your platform also to speak to the National Sports Authority and others to kindly, at least if it should be 50% and others. You were in this country when they gave Shatawale 100% full stadium. They gave Stoneboy 100% full stadium. Funerals are 100% now. Why only football? And we all agree that football is the only item of unity for a state. So if they cannot work on that, then I think the politics is too much in our game. And I'm sure that now that Parliament is also sitting on the our abysmal performance at the AFCON, we pray that in the process of that, those issues will also be fixed into the sitting so that we can have a proper response to make the sports flow well.
Very important points you've raised there. Matter of fact, let's take a detour a little bit since the conversation is up.
Sure.
So, in monitoring at the stage, of course, the station of the nation could not broadcast.
Yes.
We understand that this is due to some challenges that they have with the is it the Ghana Premier League or the GFA? Sometimes you were calling for
Yeah.
bringing back the lab
Yeah.
and airing, especially considering that the stadium could not be filled to capacity, 25% covered restriction and all that. I mean, is the Ghana Premier that is GFA? Do you think that they are committed to bringing back the love? Like you mentioned, Stoneboy, perhaps they were able to lobby,
Yeah.
to have the stadium to full capacity.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
You know, there was a time that they suspended a match, and then they told us that the stadium was going to be under renovation. All of a sudden, that time quoted for the renovation, Stoneboy or Shatawale, one of them was performing, and I'm sure you are aware of that scenario. You get it. Now, the GFA itself have to sit up. We have not gone through the hectic, how do I put it, disorganization that happened or that rocked the association as a result of an ass expose leading to the normalization and all those things. We didn't get to this level to elect them to be sitting down aloof.
Okay.
It's because all of us cannot walk to the Ministry of Sports to petition them on issues. That is why we collectively give you that responsibility. Now, GFA cannot be sitting down as though they don't have an idea of what is happening in this country. Probably they want us to tell them in the face that they are seeking self-interest. Then if they want us to get to that level, we'll get to the level that they want us to. They shouldn't forget that when you sleep, the person who taps you, you wake up, you look at that person's face. You don't pretend and be looking at another place. I'm sleeping, you wake me up. We, the people who elected you, the people who voted you into power, are people who are tapping you. Look at our face and respond. We will not criticize you because it's a fun to criticize. Look at all media platforms that discuss sport. Just monitor them. Every one of them is speaking about the GFA.
What is exactly wrong with the GFA in your view? You're a very avid, observer in support of soccer, not just in Ghana, but internationally.
Yeah.
When you compare what is being done internationally or international football associations to the Ghana Football Association, what do you think we are lacking? You have added your voice, but you can add more.
I think that there is conflict of interest between the ministry and that of the GFA. The reason I'm saying this, when it comes to even selection of coaches for the Black Stars, there are parts that the ministry has to do. They are the people that will pay when it comes to salaries and those things. They release money to be used in these things. But the GFA is an organization established by law. That's why it's an authority that should take some decisions that are final. But they are not able to take those decisions. You get it? Now, when you allow yourself,
all necessary, processes to establish the GFA as an authority, an autonomous authority, as it should be, in place, has everything been, streamed out perfectly so that it recognizes itself as an authority? Because I tell you what, most organizations that bear the label authority still have processes in Parliament.
That is hanging in Parliament.
Exactly.
But in this case, the GFA as a body has been established. Fantastic. We have that. Question this time, before we even had the expose, of which personally my stand on that expose is that I have not concluded yet to say that what was exposed is the true reflection of what is happening there.
Right.
You get it? But even if it happens, the way we had probably handled the whole thing was what took the love away. You get it? So that expose also contributed to taking out the love because the handling of the expose was wrong.
Okay.
So that has really affected. Now, if you look at the authority itself, its establishment, I think that it is fear and panic that is causing the leadership of GFA to behave as though they are bootlickers of the ministry.
I see.
One, if I am to be in that position, trust me, I'm one person that I feel like if the thing is wrong, I'll step aside. And if I want to go, I'll go the extra mile, even if it will hurt you. I used to tell people that it will take my blood and water in me to solve situations. And they asked me what's the meaning. I said I'll do the right thing, even if it will hurt me or break someone.
I see.
You get it? So we need leaders who have to get to that level. Another interesting part is look at Ghana. Can you point one national sports college that is dedicated as a national sports college for the training, teaching, and inculcating of sporting activities into individuals in this country? We don't have.
Maybe we don't have a national sports college, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We have it from the primary. We have it as PE.
No, you see,
go to
let
the
me
secondary schools, and
let
then
me
we
tell
have
you.
the
When you go
colleges
to
where these athletes and so are
yes,
selected,
my
and then
my
they
junior
have to
brother
train.
currently, my junior brother currently is in Dubai.
Mm.
He moved from China to Dubai, and what he was employed there to do was to teach football. Football. There are people who teach handball and other games. His work is to teach football, and he's paid for that.
I see.
So he's working there as a not only as a coach. You get it? Now, when you take all these things into consideration, what I'm saying is that if we have a sporting college that is responsible for grooming from infancy, the pre-formative age of everybody is important. So when you take that stage out, you begin to find it wanting when you grow.
Well, but
now
McLean, I want to come in. Under your I mean, the Mahama-led administration,
Yes.
we saw the fruition of the Bukom boxing arena. Are you saying that it's an entirely useless sporting arena?
No, we are not talking about sporting facilities. We are talking about the system that connects.
Okay.
There is that breakage.
Okay.
You get it? You go to secondary school and they play the inter-houses, the inter-schools, the inter-regions. What is the impact of that on the national team performance? What is the impact? We cannot see it. What we see is that the coach team that are put together by individual owners. They are clubs that are owned by individuals but not the nation. What happens is that we go there to do scouting from those coach teams as at when the need arises for them to be put together to play a particular national interest team.
Right.
And that cannot help us. But when we have a system that connects, we know that these guys at age 5 are people that their whole life they want to play football. So we begin to train them, they move to 7, they move to 12. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of them that are connected, they know each other well. That's why when you go to the France, the British and other people, they play football like it is a video game. Why? Have you asked yourself why? It's because they have been together from childhood, they are trained, they give them the steps, what you have to do. Let me tell you, there's a full book on every position on the pitch, which is not less than 1,000 or 1,009 pages. So when you are a striker and you are playing something like a right winger, there's a book that is designed for a right winger. So you study that as a doctor goes to school and study medicine.
Have that? So now we are offering doctorate degrees.
I'm telling you.
Interesting.
You get it.
Interesting. But yesterday, speaking about bringing back the love,
sure.
Let's wrap up on this one. You mentioned the musicians and all that. I also gave you hints, and you said you monitored some. Was Sports Minister Honorable Yusuf there?
I didn't see him. I can't speak to whether he was there or not. But if he was not there, probably he might have been attending to other equally important national assignments.
Right.
Apart from that, I would have been criticizing him that he's supposed to be there.
Of course.
A game like that. But some people also raise concern that we are making only Accra House of Oak and Asante Kotoko as the only club that is in the nation, and it's a serious issue.
The same support
yes.
I mentioned that.
So when we want to push Mustafa for not coming to Asante Kotoko, then we should be pushing him to attend Escalate versus Waves in the Agave side, that is Okujeto's constituency. You get it? So his presence or not present at that place is not really anything to worry about
for the success of the game.
Yes.
Well, let's try and bring back the. I don't know what Asante Kotoko and House of Oak have put into their clubs to elucidate all of these supports, but then if we would give same support to the other things, the Zaytunas, what have you.
Definitely.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
We will strengthen our very own sports. Kudos to Kotoko and House of Folk for that conduct yesterday. Now, McLean, that was just a detour, but interesting conversation all the same. One thing that is of much concern, utmost concern. I'm sure that on your way here this morning, you were contemplating whether you were going to pay a little extra for your transportation fare.
Yeah.
Or that you were going to pay the usual. Now, I was contemplating the same as well. So, This morning I picked up a few extra coins, just so that I wouldn't find myself wanting. Luckily, no increments so far.
Yeah, so far.
It's unfortunate we don't have a representative of the current administration
Yeah.
and president. But let's do this. When you wake up each day to hear that there are either prospects of increasing fuel prices, or that fuel prices have been increased, and when you realize the astronomical and frequent increments in fuel prices, what comes into your mind? For me, I've packed my Range Rover. I can't buy fuel anymore. I don't know about you.
Reginald,
Yeah.
it is interesting for us all to note that in the space of 1 year, there has been 50% increment in fuel prices, or better say, petroleum products.
Yeah.
And if schools increase school fees, we even complain. That is at a one time. Then now that fuel is going to increase, and it is going to be continuous and become part of your everyday life. It's not an issue that it is increased today, it will take another long time. But in this case, almost every, it can even be 2 days.
Oh, no, 2 days is
No,
too
no,
sad.
the way it is
You give
going,
it 2 weeks.
you see the way it's going, I
least some
am
2 weeks,
afraid
yeah.
the dollar rate
Yes.
and then the fuel price hikes. I don't know which of them will break the 8.
Well,
I don't know which of them will break the 8.
unfortunately, these are two factors
That work hand in hand.
exactly when it comes to especially fuel
Yes,
pricing.
but responding to your question, fuel prices affect every sector of life.
Certainly.
Just point one. Everything we do is affected, unless otherwise you don't move from one place to the other. Unless you will not move. Now, there are times that even VRA, Gridco, ECG, they buy fuel to be able for their turbines to work. Which means that if there is rise in fuel prices or petroleum related products, it will translate into hikes in other things such as energy related issues. So when you wake up and then you realize that there is an increment in fuel prices, it is devastating, it's headaching. It is headaching. And I'm sure I keep telling my colleagues from the other side that it's because they know the anger and the anguish in which Ghanaians are. That is why they can't come and defend this.
Well,
you see, Reginald, you cannot defend issue that is bordering on all of us. You can make all the noise of your policies here and there, but the true reflection of these policies will be your pocket.
Right.
You get it? So they are feeling it. We are feeling it. We are all feeling it. So at this point, I keep telling my friends that, look, we as NDC would not come to inherit a collapsed government and be happy with it. So there is no way I will sit here, if I know of any solution, I will not profess it. I will say it.
Do we have possible solutions to increment in fuel price hikes? What do you think would be the ultimate solution?
Good. We have solutions. Let me take you through some few steps.
Take us through.
One, there are things that government cannot do anything about. International prices.
Exactly.
Those are the refined base prices that the product comes with. Now, one of the reasons, which is not the ultimate, why fuel prices might increase across the world, is the tussle going on between Russia and Ukraine.
Okay.
You know that Russia also produces a lot of petroleum products. So when these things come up, there is this kind of shortfall, and it will affect the market. That will lead to increase in prices. I have to admit that is also another issue that government cannot work about. But Randy, it will interest you to know that Ghana is a net exporter of crude oil. Now, when you are a net exporter of crude oil, what happens? It means that you export a lot of your crude oil outside. Now, when you export a lot of crude oil outside, the prices has shot up in exportation of crude oil. 2018, 2020, thereabout is $55 per barrel. Then the finance minister even projected in his budget that is going to be $61 dollars per barrel coming 2022. But as I speak to you, it's more than $100. So what it means is that we'll be making more money from the exportation of crude oil. So that money that we are making out of the exportation, how is it utilized? That is one side.
Right.
Because when you work in a company and there is a windfall, we believe that this rainfall that is coming, everybody in the company should be able to enjoy something. That is the importance of the crude oil side that other countries are placing emphasis on and are utilizing for stabilizing the price now. But in our case, we are not talking about it. And I'm not sure you have heard what I'm saying here anywhere on the crude oil price increasing, and the proceeds and the revenue we generate from that can be used to now come back to cushion us.
Well, when you look at, I mean, you talk about exportation, but when you look at the demand and supply side, of course, Ghana might be a net exporter of crude oil, as you put it. But then let's look at the demand side, and you know that demand and supply is also one of those factors that determines the prices. Now, look at the number of cars that we import a year, and its tantamount effect on the demand for
the petroleum products.
You mentioned the energy generating sector. ECG also you mentioned. They are also using. So the dependence on these crude products is becoming increasing.
Sure.
Now, is the same increase in demand tantamount to the net exports that we push as a country? You balance these and you can equate whether we are making falls or making gains.
Yes. So initially I said that I would take you through some few processes, and I have admitted on two grounds that the government cannot work anything on these things. Now I am taking you through a step to where government can do something. The first one is the crude, which we export. The process has to cushion us. It is not happening. Number two, when MPP resumed power, what they told us as of 2018 was that they are going to establish a new refinery. The reason why the demand is high and we are not able to meet the demand is that there is no local refinery. Tor has been turned into a tank farm. What it means is that the products are going to be kept there as at when it is necessary, then it is distributed. But when NDC was in power, that was not what was happening. Tor was running. Tor was running.
But making losses?
No. You can't say Tor was making losses.
How have we found Tor at its current state?
When we were leaving power, if I'd come with that document, I would have given you the breakdown.
We have seen several reports.
But do you think that
and the inability of Tor to offset some of its bills and all that?
Do you think that? Do you think that if Tor, let's granted that it is true, do you think that closing down Tor because it was making losses, probably minimal losses, then that is more better?
Would you call those huge sums of money?
No, that's what I'm telling you, that even the losses you are quoting, they are just media gimmicks that came up to dust up the system.
If they are gimmicks, why is Tema Oil Refinery a shadow of itself?
That is why we need to question what is happening at the current management level.
Okay.
Now let me tell you, even if you convert the whole Tor into tank farm, the same administrative cost, the same energy cost that was running the place will still be the same cost that you are incurring keeping those products there.
Then maybe it means that it was perhaps under producing whatsoever. So that demand and supply comes in. If you are not able to meet the demand, obviously strain yourself, and then the end result is where we find
Now my question here is that, no, my suggestion here is that government said they were going to establish a new refinery, which will be the second largest in the sub-Saharan region. In fact, when I heard that, I was so happy. So I have never at any point in time made any comment probably to stand in the way of the government. I was supporting them anywhere I appear. But for 5 years now, we don't have even a block laid at that place. Now, the reason why I am using that is that you asked me the solution to these problems.
Yes.
If we have a local refinery, we will be able to produce and have control over the marketing price of the product. But here lies the case, we don't have one. Now, what do you need, or what are the factors you need to consider when you want to establish refinery in your country? Demand, we have met that. Market, we have met that. Raw materials, we have met that.
Have we?
The raw materials. Ghana is a net exporter of crude oil.
Okay, you mean export, right?
Yes, you know, but I'm talking about the raw materials that you refine. It's the crude oil that you refine.
Okay.
And we are sending all this crude oil. Let me tell you, apart from the 40% that Ghana gas produces, apart from that, all other petroleum associated products are imported, including spray, mosquito spray. Including mosquito spray. So if we start that refinery in Ghana here, look at all the product that will be coming from petroleum, would have been getting all those things in the country. That is just to talk about the fuel price hikes and how to control them, not even looking at employment. Not looking at employment. So it is not going to be an issue of NDC MPP, but the suggestion is that whether MPP is in power, NDC is in power, the refinery has to come to birth.
Right.
Now, I am criticizing them because they made a conscious effort that they were going to build a refinery. That's why I keep saying that if promises were to be bride price, MPP leadership and communicators would have been married to 6 wives each. But when it comes to promises, they can promise, and this promise is something that touches heart. You get it? So I am pleading to the Ministry of Energy and
so
then
well, as it stands now, I mean, like you said, every 2 days,
yeah,
fuel prices are increasing.
Sure.
This is as a result of the deregulation of fuel prices in the country, and the suggestions you're giving us, of course, to refine oil by ourselves, or petroleum, I beg your pardon, by ourselves, of course, it's a long-term project we are looking at. Like you said, a block has not been laid whatsoever. Maybe seeing to resuscitating the Tema oil refinery is another, course on its own. In the interim, the Akufo-Addo administration sought to zero the price recovery, price sector recovery levy. Am I getting it? Maybe I mixed it up.
That's
right.
Yeah.
These are one of those taxes.
That's the price stabilization and recovery levy.
Price stabilization and recovery levy. And these are some of the taxes that are on petroleum products already. Now we have, if my count is right, about 7 of them. We have the energy sector recovery levy. We have sanitation. I mean, it's a lot. But the administration decided to zero that aspect. Previously, we were paying 16 pesos for petroleum. Petrol, and then 14 for diesel and 14 pesos for LPG as well. Now they're saying that we shouldn't pay for some time. That was for 2 months. I mean, this is what the government can do in the interim. We are talking about interim solutions.
Yes.
This is what the government has done.
I was going there. I was going there because I was giving one after the other.
Okay, I want us
now
to
the taxation is the next thing I was going to speak on. The price stabilization and recovery levy you talk about has been brought back. Check.
Well, yes. Well, that was after 2 months.
Yes.
It gave us some cushioning, didn't it?
But why would they bring it back? What is the essence?
Now you know why the price stabilization.
No, let me tell you. Are you aware from 2016 to 2020, according to the finance minister's budget, the price stabilization and recovery levy, the tax component alone was 2.6 billion generated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the importance of that money or that levy? Its importance is now what we are going through to stabilize the market. That is why they name it price stabilization and recovery. It means that if we should be hit by unforeseen circumstances like what we are experiencing now, you go into that tax that you've collected and kept somewhere to cushion the people. There are two reasons.
This is where a problem may be emanating. So mainly
let me
charging. Okay,
let me land. Now there are two reasons to that effect. One is what we call the premise cushioning and the stabilization.
Yes.
So
that is the essence of the PSRL.
Yes. Now when you look at this, the 2.6 billion that they generated according to their own budget. I am not quoting this thing. I mean, I'm not saying these things from my side, but quoting what he has presented to Parliament. According to him, they utilized only 1 billion, and they cannot account for the 1.6 billion.
That's not what he said.
No,
he accounted for. No. He accounted for what has been used.
Yes, but the others, we cannot find it. As I'm speaking to you, you can you as a media house, you can probe right to the Energy Committee in Parliament. Honorable John Jinapo and others, they are ready. You have their number, can give their number to you, call them directly. You will get all those things and then you get it from there. They have not accounted for 1.6 billion. And that is the money that's supposed to be cushioning the citizenry at this time.
Okay.
Number two,
quickly.
You know the general revenue generated from all taxes that are placed on petroleum products amounted to 17 billion. That 17 billion, according to the same budget, they have used 14 billion. The 3 billion cannot be accounted for. When he went to Parliament Subcommittee on Energy, they asked him, they questioned the ministry. Do you know what they told them? They said they borrowed part of that money to pay pension.
Well,
they borrowed part of that money to pay pension. So clearly, a word that I decided not to use for them, but because of what they are doing, it is mismanagement.
Okay, fine. So you will put that as mismanagement. But then, you know, we have this unsatiating call for, you know, the PSRL, the essence of the PSRL to be implemented now.
Yeah.
Now, maybe we are not taking consideration into the future when perhaps we may be hard hit by, you mentioned Russia and is it Ukraine?
Yeah.
For instance, maybe some of these, you know, unforeseen circumstances could bring a total disruption in the supply of petroleum products. And then obviously you know what would mean when you look at demand and supply again. You know what this would turn out to be, and of course prices would increase. Don't you think that, you know, such unforeseen circumstances would be a probably more accurate reason we should be using the PSRL than, you know, in times when we can perhaps one way or the other afford to pay?
We are not arguing that it should be removed, but we are rather questioning that if the money is collected and cannot be accounted for, then what is the essence for paying it? Because we are preparing ourselves for the future, and the money is not being accounted for.
So you are saying even in future circumstances, because of the unaccountability,
we don't have money in that account now. If we wake up tomorrow and there is other heavy strikes on the industry, we don't have any money there. You get it? You see, this government is noted for just cutting everything that is needed for future generations. When we said that let's get Heritage Fund down, they came back and told us that the Heritage Fund, which is for future, the future is today.
They started using COVID-19.
Yes, COVID-19.
If a rep was here, he would tell you why they went. They say it's COVID-19.
Even with the COVID-19 issue, the kind of mismanagement and corruption that characterize that is bad. Randy, let me draw your attention to another
let's wrap up. Let's wrap up.
We are wrapping up already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was enjoying the discussion. I don't know why.
Myself.
But let me draw your attention to another thing. You know, in demand and supply in economics, if you pump too much money into a system, it can also lead to depreciation. That's another level of discussion.
If you pump
too much money, too much currency into the system,
Is it too much foreign currency or
No.
too much local currency?
Too much local currency.
How,
you know,
how is that?
that is the reason why Parliament, in their best knowledge, granted the finance minister to borrow or for the central bank to inject 10 billion cedis into the Ghanaian market for the stabilization of the cedi against that of the dollar. The finance minister went ahead and borrowed 20 billion. Are you aware? I am, you see, any this MPP member that is watching me, government, I'm available. We know they used to picking us when we just leave studios. Your studio is just opposite Vodafone. They can
I don't
pick
think
me.
you've said anything detrimental.
Yes.
You're making a point. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Are you
Go ahead.
aware that Parliament granted 10 billion? The finance minister went ahead and borrowed 20 billion just to inject into the system. Now, if that money was injected into the system and then there is a flotation of a lot of local currency in the system, people begin to look for systems to hoard. You know, there is money hoarding as in other sectors. And when that happens without a proper regulation, we begin to suffer depreciation at the same time. Now, my problem with this whole thing is that if finance minister can put a whole parliament aside and go ahead to take 20 billion instead of this, I don't expect him to even be at post. But when you raise that, they'll be like, oh, when this is multi, let people resign. 20 billion that they have injected
you are
into
saying
the
that
system.
that has caused us. Of course, I mean,
It has caused
the
us.
depreciation of the cedi, another factor.
Yes.
To full price increments. I mean, international prices being charged in dollars and all that.
Well, maybe
Would you want to blame all of this on, you know, just what you believe that the finance minister pushed or injected into the
it's a
system?
series of failures at their side, and that is one.
Okay.
You see, let me tell you, the fuel price that is hiking is. Do you know that it's also partly dependent or can be related to the depreciation of the cedi?
I indicated.
Yes,
It's
good.
not partly. It's actually one of those
Yeah,
factors.
it's one of those factors that is leading to that. And I was telling you that I don't know whether the depreciation of the cedi and the hikes in fuel price, I don't know which of them is competing with Dr. Baumia in breaking the 8.
Okay. Well, the figures are almost breaking the 8, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe I have to ask you, which one do you think will break the 8?
Well, I sincerely do not know. For the current administration, we know if they'll break the 8, it totally depends on what they're doing for the people of Ghana and what the people of Ghana would decide come 2024. But for fuel prices, OPEC have warned, and COPEC has also warned. So I'm talking about OPEC and COPEC.
Yeah.
Have all warned that, in fact, they warned somewhere in November last year that by February we would be hitting 8 cedis per liter of petrol. Fortunately, we are at 7.995. Some differences, sometimes 7.998 and 7.992, depending on where you're buying your fuel. Hey, I used to remember how we would boast of buying fuel at some, you know, specific, considered prestigious fueling stations, but right now we are all buying kerosene for Charlie. It's not easy, but
It's not easy, Charlie.
maybe we will break the 8 in full price. Maybe as well. You know, the fortunate thing as well is that petroleum product prices is usually undulating. It goes up and it fluctuates.
Yeah.
So let's hope that in the near future something is done so that at least it comes down a little bit. If not come down at all, that it's stabilized for quite a longer time.
But
so that we don't break the 8 on that aspect.
the chief sprinter, which is the fuel price now, the galloping it's taking, I'm not sure that if we have to take a reverse, it can have that same energy to drop back. It might drop back. I'm not sure that.
McLean is speaking technically. We are grateful for your time this morning,
Thank you.
McLean.
Thank you.
The fuel prices are now at around 7.99, depending on where you're buying. So when you go out there, be informed. And now the GPRTU, in the meantime, has dissociated itself from the announcement of a possible transportation fare increments. So perhaps until the GPRTU and other agencies come together to see to it that transportation fares will be increased. Believe me, you are paying the same as you used to pay. And let's see what happens by next week, Monday, if it would be increased or not. So then, my name is Reginald. I think we've been having a wonderful conversation with Mr. McLean Adjokache. He speaks for the National Democratic Congress. We spoke about this course yesterday for Asante Kotoko and House of Oak. We've spoken about petroleum product price increments, especially fuel price increments. You've learned some of the factors. He prefers a few suggestions. Let's see, maybe if his party comes into power sometime, we would replay all of these suggestions and see if they'll be able to live by it. Well, we have some more conversations coming up your way. Anastasia Badu is coming up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
So at Sonotech, we always pride ourselves of being a patient-centered facility. And so we always go the extra mile to put a smile on the faces of our patients. And we don't just wait for them to be unwell to come to us, but we always strive to ensure that our patients are always in good health. So the month of February is the month of love. And how best can we express our love than to give to our clients? So what we are doing this month of February is to give a 20% discount on all our health packages. Yes, all our health packages. So for our health packages, we have our life packages, and then we have the bronze, the silver, and then the gold packages. So if you walk in from the 1st February to the end of February, you get 20% discount on all our health packages. And we are introducing a very special package for couples as well. We realized that especially the premarital couples, sometimes because of the excitement of getting married and all that, we discuss everything and always forget about our health. So we've come together with a very nice health package for couples, and it's discounted at 30%. So that's the couples package, and we encourage our clients to take advantage of this special package as we go through the month of February. This is our way of saying that we love our clients. This is our way of giving back. This is our way of putting smiles on the faces of our clients. In addition to this, you can also walk in and pay for a loved one. I know 14th is Vows Day. As we think of giving gifts to our clients or to our friends, to our loved ones, let's consider buying a healthcare package at Sonotech for the ones that we love. And on 14th February, we promise all our clients to experience something very extraordinary ordinary at Sonotech. Once you come for any service with us, any of our branches, West Hills, Osu, and Tema, you will leave with a special gift. And you can trust us when we say you leave with a special gift. So we wish all of you the best. Let's enjoy the period of love. Let's enjoy the health packages that Sonotech has for us. And as we always say, we are your total healthcare partner for life.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092577754, 02094949258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork Premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
You're welcome back from the break. You're watching AM Ghana Show. Thanks to Reginald Adi with the political discussion on issues relating to fuel price. Yesterday, I was listening to the news, and I think that a member of the either drivers, concerned drivers, or these stakeholders who actually, I didn't get the name. I was not able to catch the association in which he belongs to, but I think they spoke to either the president of concerned drivers or what, I think something like that, who mentioned that if it doesn't look as though government is interested in solving the rampant hikes in fuel prices, and so they have also decided to increase fares, whether government says something or not. They are not waiting for the government, because they write to them, they try to speak about it one or two, and then they leave it out. And so what even caught my attention was that he said they have wives, they have a family, and girlfriends as well. And so that's on a lighter note. They are telling you why they've even increased the fares, and so we should expect it. But you're welcome to the discussion segment for AM Ghana Show. And we can't kill ourselves, though things are getting very tough. We can't kill ourselves, but in times of need, that is when you see that you have people, or you have loved ones, or you don't. And when it happens that you're in a dire situation and there's no one to help you out, it becomes troubling. Well, when things were rosy a bit, people were giving alms, people were showing love, and all sort of activities that could also give back to society. Now things are hard as well, and does that mean that it's going to be on hold? Does that mean it's going to be one of those things, and so we'll just leave it somewhere till we get money? This is a young gentleman who started this some years back, and he's been doing this solely. Of course, at the end of the conversation, you can also see how you can help him to be able to impact lives. But I know what he's been doing, because I have been there before, and in school I have gotten myself involved in some of these things. It is sometimes very, very worrying to see children in that situation. I'm speaking about, or today we are going to discuss issues relating to how we give to the society, and I'm going to do that with Isaac Deborah Bequin, who has been providing support to deprived communities, children living in deprived communities. Isaac, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I think this is not the second time. It's been a number of times we've met on the show, right?
Yes.
But this year, so Happy New Year. I've not seen you this year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I wish you the same. I'm doing very well.
Thank you very much. But how has your activities been so far?
Actually,
let's look at 2021.
2021, we weren't able to do much because of the insurgence of the COVID, but we tried, we did our best. And 2022, we have also started on a good note.
You're already in the second one thing you started.
Yes.
But let's go, but let's refresh our memories and also inform our viewers on how many years this has been on your shoulders. When did you start this, and how many years have you been doing it?
Actually, we started somewhere in 2012, but we came into the limelight around 2015. So 2015 till now, we've been
7 years running.
Yes. Every year we do something marvelous. So we are still on course.
And we'll get to where you share experience with us, how year on year there has been any improvements as to the things you do for these kids in deprived communities. But what actually inspired this move? Because for a gentleman who is young and upcoming, and you are married as well,
yes, please.
How are you able to handle that, and then family, and then also personal stuff? What influenced this?
Thank you so much. I started this before I got married.
Okay.
So before I got married, I told my wife, this is where my interest is, and this is what I think I've been obliged by God to do. So I need your support. And she also gave the consent. So immediately she came in, she had no option than, as I said, to join. So from 2012, I got married somewhere 2015.
Okay.
So,
around that time, the time it started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2015, I started with this mobilization of items for the deprived communities. Actually, I didn't know how to go about it, because as an individual, how do you get this sort of money and other stuff for these deprived? Actually, it's not only for children. It cuts across up to the oldest in the society, people in the deprived communities. So I started with a donation of clothes. So it got to a point I saw that I wouldn't be able to give items to these people every day. So I had to add what we call the advocacy work, where if I get to a place and I see a problem and I cannot solve it, I can put it across so that people who are benevolent and also well-to-do can come in and support. So it's been like that till now, but we are still pushing. It hasn't been easy. As we said, we will come there where we will share our experiences. So we've been to, I've been to more than 20 communities in deprived communities. And basically now, though we have national licenses, we operate most in the eastern region of Ghana because of finances. So we are praying that as time goes by, we'll be able to push forward.
So these 20 communities are in the eastern region?
Yes.
So basically these 20 are in the eastern region. Okay. Yeah. So what are the peculiar problems? Since it's one region, of course, it'll be easier. What are the peculiar problems in these 20 communities that you visited? Which ones were very, very touching that you really needed to do something about? And also, if you can speak about the first project that you ever did in the community. Okay,
the first project, before I come to the peculiar problem, the first project I did, if I could remember, it was March 2015 at a village called Baware.
Baware?
Yes, in the Akuapem North municipality. So we went there to donate farm implement and clothing to these people. Actually, before I will go to a place, I do surveillance survey, do research, collect data before I move.
Okay.
So I saw that they had that problem, and from our conversations and meetings upon meetings with the leaders, they told me that they would be happy if I could get them some of these items for their farming. So we provided cutlasses and other spraying machines for them. And then we moved on to 2016.
No, before you get to 2016, like you just mentioned, don't they have an MP?
They have.
Okay.
You know, in P, we have this adage, say, so sometimes I presume that these MPs and the ministers, they can't solve all these issues. So when
is it an agric community? Is it an
they are peasant
farming?
They are peasant farmers.
Peasant farmers.
Yes.
Okay. So well, we'll put that aside and let's go 2016.
2016 too, I went to another village called Abenevia. Also, Abenevia is now, it was formerly under Krapinov, but now it has gone under the Okre district.
Okay.
So 2016, I went there to donate to them. For them, it was clothing.
Okay.
So we went to give them, and fortunately, there was a lady over there called Mary. She had this eye tumor. So as the sharing was going,
you used fortunately.
yes, because on the part of the lady, she met.
That's fortunate.
Yes, yes. So as the sharing was ongoing, this lady was somewhere and she couldn't come to where the crowd was. So after everything, I went to her. She had then covered the hair with a scarf. So I told her what's wrong, and she opened, and I couldn't stand it. So I asked her problem, and she said she has an eye problem, and for 4 years now she has been in the room. She doesn't go out. So something just struck her to come out and see what was going on. I said, wow, I will try my best. And God being so good, we were able to do publications and other stuffs. And through that, I got somebody from Jamaica who came to me at Latte, paid all the bills. Then I had started, I had to opt for some loans to the commercial bank to support her and the children. And God being so good, this woman,
she has children.
She had children,
okay.
And unfortunately, they were all not in school. So I had to help her in funding for them, and it got to a point. This woman came in also to support, and lo and behold, the daughter had now finished senior high school.
Wow.
Yes. And after everything, after the surgery in 2017, we had to give her some sort of capital to start business.
Yeah.
And now she started with, she bought a motor at the village, working for her. And she told me that she want to set up a coastal business.
Hey.
And I said, wow. She started with porridge business.
Okay.
Had an account at the Cropon for her. Give her the seed money. And now she's through. And I think we are moving. That was 2016. And we also had, apart from the donation, we also did a surgery for one Martina